The Jeffrey Epstein files seem to have vanished. The files refer to a client list allegedly held by disgraced paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein, who died in a New York prison cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. It has been repeatedly suggested that Epstein's death was not a suicide and that he was murdered to prevent him from implicating an elite circle of government officials, celebrities, and business leaders who were involved in his crimes. Now, the US Department of Justice and FBI have dropped their probe into the deceased sex offender and released a memo which concludes Epstein's death was a suicide. The joint memo also says this. This systematic review revealed no incriminating, quote, client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. And yet, in February, Attorney General Pam Bondi said something rather different.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
It's on my desk. Now, it never existed. Here's Donald Trump speaking to Lex Fridman, the podcaster, in the run-up to the 2024 election.
The list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
So what's changed? Well, perhaps we can look to Trump's public breakup with his former head of Doge, Elon Musk. After the world's richest man and the president of the United States had a very public falling out over Trump's big, beautiful bill, Musk went on to post this. Time to drop the really big bomb. @Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they've not been made public. That's from last month. Have a nice day, DJT rather, Donald J. Trump. That post has now been deleted. The wealthiest man in the world had to delete the post. Maybe it was a bit too close to the bone. But Musk shared a meme yesterday mocking the Trump administration. You can see here, effectively, for people who are listening on podcasts, it's the clown meme. We will release the Epstein list as the first one, and then you get to the end, the guy's looking like a clown. There is no Epstein list. I think it's a pretty accurate summation of what's happened. And Daily Mirror columnist Kevin Maguire weighed in on Good Morning Britain this morning.
We can see when Mohammed Fayed at Harrods, he had a network of people who were helping him to get those women he was raping, whether it was security or other staff. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell didn't just do this on their own.
No.
Now, yeah, okay, she's in prison, he's dead, but there'll be a lot of people around them who were working with them. And now, today, there'll be hundreds possibly of very powerful, influential, rich men who will be breathing a huge sigh of relief.
I don't think it's helpful to compare Mohammed Al-Fayed, previously the owner of Harrods, Fulham Football Club, to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was the world's most famous paedophile. He was friends with the likes of Bill Gates, at one time the world's wealthiest person, former heads of state, or at that time heads of state, people like Peter Mandelson, all kinds of people, the billionaire financier, friends, the rich and famous, Prince Andrew, okay? Some very powerful people. His partner in crime literally was Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was literally the daughter of Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell was the spy for Israel, allegedly. Great book on it. The month after Seymour Hersh writes a book about the Israeli nuclear program, the month after, I think in 1991, the month after, Robert Maxwell dies in a freak boating accident, mysteriously dies, okay? His daughter is then friends with this financier, billionaire. How do you make the billions? Nobody really knows. He just had billions. Where did the money come from? We don't know. And he somehow has a private island and all these wealthy, powerful people go there And there's loads of parties with women and kids and all sorts. And he's into that stuff himself. And he's caught multiple times. He dies in prison, but don't worry, it's suicide. And then you have years of people saying they'll publish all the details about this stuff, and then all of a sudden, the kibosh on it. A month after, the president of the United States is called out on X by the world's wealthiest person in a tweet saying that he's on the list, and that tweet is then deleted. Seems kind of bad. I don't think you can compare it to Mohammed Al-Fayed. Very serious crime, sexual assault, harassment, sexual, abuse, awful, prison, 100%. I think we're talking about a systemic, political, cultural scandal which has ramifications on multiple continents in commerce, politics, and high society. Now, speaking of people accused of sexual abuse, the DOJ has now dropped investigations into Epstein's clients less than a week after rapper Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, or to people my age, Puff Daddy, was acquitted on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Combs was found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution, and he remains in detention while he awaits sentencing. The rap mogul's high-profile trial included graphic testimony from two of Combs' former girlfriends. One, Cassie Ventura, testified about being controlled by Combs due to the threat and presence of violence in their relationship. Violence which can be seen in a 2016 CCTV video that shows Combs beating and kicking Ventura in a hotel hallway. We're not going to show you that footage. Some of you will have seen it. You can see it if you so wish. We aren't going to show it. What is going on? Or what is going on? At the heart of the Trump sort of political offer were conspiracy theories, pseudo-conspiracy theories, and actually some of those conspiracy theories bordered on the truth, like the Epstein files. At the heart of all that was the idea that the powerful were completely out of control and that there was no accountability for people if they were powerful enough, people like Jeffrey Epstein. And lo and behold, Pam Bondi and Donald Trump have shown that's absolutely 100% true. They've really undermined a core plank of Trumpism. I mean, we haven't got it to show you, but basically, Alex Jones was crying. He's sort of miserable about it all. Just goes to show that the insurgent political offer always sounds so much more radical when they're out of power. When they're in power, I'm on the list, forget about it. Is that the last we've heard of the Epstein files, though? I wonder. The ambassador of this country to the United States was very close friends to the world's most famous paedophile. And our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, had absolutely no issue with giving him that role. You know what? They do have impunity. They do have impunity. And I'm not suggesting that Mandelson did anything illegal, but if you're friends with the world's most famous paedophile and you carry on that friendship to the extent that you go see them after they've been charged, you probably shouldn't be representing this country.